I'm going to be your usual here.
Okay,
All
all
right.
right. So you'll have 5 minutes to do it, and if you wouldn't mind stating your name and municipality of residence.
My name is John Adams, and I'm currently residing in Bellefonte Borough. To start, I'd like to answer why some of us that come in here do not pledge to this flag. Under Pennsylvania Consolidated Statute, Title 18, Chapter 2101, displaying of the American flag. The offense is defined as a person is guilty of a summary offense of being directly or indirectly in charge of any public gathering in any place if he fails at such gathering to display publicly and visibly the flag of the United States, reasonably clean and in good repair. I see a flag here. My problem is with Section 2102 of Pennsylvania Consolidated Statute, Title 18, desecration of the United States flag. The offense is defined, a person is guilty of a misdemeanor of the third degree if in any manner he, for exhibition or display, places any marks, writing, or design of any nature or any advertisement upon the flag. That is a yellow fringe on that flag. That is not the original American flag. I did not go to school every day of my life pledging allegiance to a yellow fringe flag. I will not do it now. According to the law, this flag is against the law. This is, as it states, a misdemeanor of the third degree. I will not pledge to it. I think that this flag right here, and if you guys weren't aware of that, is a perfect example of the issues we face in our government, where you guys are bound by laws that in some cases you're either unknowingly or knowingly breaking the law. That flag to me represents a make it up as you go mentality, which we are seeing all over this county. Ignorance of the law does not work for me as a citizen. It should not work for you guys as our leaders. That said, that's why we do not pledge to the flag. I love this country. I'll pledge to an American flag, not a yellow fringe flag. Now, I'd like to ask you three commissioners a question. Do you guys know the three words on the Pennsylvania state flag? Mr. Higgins, I'd like to start with you. Do you know the first word on the Pennsylvania state flag?
Well, unfortunately, ours is a little rolled up at the moment, so I'll have to...
We'll skip the first word.
Yeah.
Mr. Pike, do you know the second word on the state flag?
I do not off the top of my head.
Mr. Dersham, you don't know the third word?
Independence, perhaps? I don't know.
You're the only one to get one right. Thank you, sir. Virtue. Behavior showing high moral standards. An early meeting, not on the agenda, not publicly broadcasted, after we received thousands of views and interest in the public in our allegations. You guys crammed it in 45 minutes into a meeting with no public notification. I was not notified until Michael Pike sent me a personal Facebook message that this had even taken place. I felt it was a slap in the face, and I'm going to make sure that all the people that have supported this and are interested realize that that was a slap in the face to them as well. This is a dialogue that should have been carried out in public with notification given to the public, not just swept under the rug like this county seems to love to do. Liberty, the second word on the flag. The state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. The reason I stand, and I'm willing to speak before you men today, is because I am not afraid of tyrants. I know liberty, and abusers of power do not scare me. Independence, which you got, Commissioner Dersham, I applaud you. The fact or state of being independent. We will expose the lawlessness in this county. We will not stop until the shadows of abusive power are brought to light and the people of Happy Valley truly know independence. And that's my opening for you guys. Now, my issue that I'm sitting here in front of you today is with a follow-up that was done by Election Director Joyce E. McKinley last week. You guys told us you'd give us a month. It came a week early. It's fine. As you can see, I'm here ready to do battle with you. First of all, it wasn't on the agenda. I take issue with that. Our issue was not particularly with Worth Township, but more so the whole process. That was just one example of many that we had dug up.
About a minute left, just like your job.
Yes, sir. We most assuredly educated ourselves before raising this issue. It appears that you guys are the ones in need of educating. The primaries are irrelevant if you are running in a party, and definitely not most critical if you're not running in a party. I'm sorry. And definitely not most critical to the election process, as Ms. McKinley stated. To quote Ms. McKinley, there's a procedure we must follow. We are mandated by the Secretary of Bureau of Elections that we must advertise for what will appear on the ballot of every election. On the Center County, PA government website, index number 238, there are no positions advertised, with Joyce listed as our director. The last day to circulate and file nomination petitions for party filings was February 16th. That has still not been reflected or updated on the calendar. We don't know those names that she claims are supposed to be available to us. I'd like to know what law enforcement officer is capable of looking into this, especially if you guys just took her words at face value, and I'm finding 1,000,001 problems with it. We understand the election laws, and at this point, we probably understand them better than your director. She completely left out the process of circulating nomination papers when attempting to educate us. So when attempting to educate, she's leaving out processes and chunks in the whole 9 yards. We still don't know who has received write-in votes in any township or borough. That cannot be found anywhere, just a blanket number. And we're supposed to take, this broken election director as face value of what's going on here. The successful candidate in Worth Township had declined to file his ethics forms. According to her, that's a necessary process of being elected. Because he declined, he was never elected. Therefore, how can there be a vacancy? That was never a properly elected position. He didn't complete the process. She said she was not notified of an appointment in Worth on February 4th for violations of the Sunshine Act, Section 704, in regards to open and public meetings. The township supervisors in Worth Township took a break during the meeting, met outside in the hallway, in secret, and discussed the appointment to vacancy. Came out and announced their decision. We filed charges. For 3 weeks, the election director was unaware of the charges filed against the Worth Township supervisors or the appointment that had been made. She said this in her review to you, that she was not aware of any appointments in that township. For 3 weeks, charges have been filed. She failed to provide any more information than what my group has brought here to you guys and publicly online. And we did this purposely. We are still sitting on stuff that you guys haven't told us, just to see if you'll do your jobs right. Can we even trust our courts or our district attorney to look into and prosecute these sunshine violations? There's no integrity in the courts. We've seen that all year.
Mr. Adams, you're at about 7 minutes.
I'm just going to make a comment. I'll give up my
I'm
time.
going.
No, do you have about a minute left or so? Is that
I'm going to take his 5 minutes here.
Yeah.
Well, that's not, I apologize, that's not how it works.
Well, I'm going to keep going and you guys can drag me out. You guys almost let a judge surrounded in controversy become a township supervisor with these questionable processes. Had we not raised this issue, I doubt that ever would have came to light. This man was left under a sea of controversy, and he almost was appointed a township supervisor under the same claims we're saying. Sketchy resignations, sketchy appointments. No one was notified until we broke this.
Mr. Adams, I'd ask you this.
The only media notifications about these 39 appointments are in regards to Ferguson and the Center Daily Times article that spawned because of us. No media is reporting this. At the start of the year, after a fresh election with 396 elected positions, 39 were appointees. 10% of our elected government is made up of official appointed positions. And this is after a brand new election. There is no excuse for that. Our elections director said that there were 2 tax collectors who ran for 2-year terms. According to results on your website, the Center County Government website, there were 4. Once again, she can't even properly relay her own facts. Or you're trying to hide it. The appointment of a district magistrate was not our concern. The sketchy and shadowy resignation so soon after an election was. And that is in regards to District Magistrate Dutchcott there. Speaking of judges, back to Section 993C. It clearly states that party nominees who do not apply within 2 calendar months immediately preceding the election are not eligible. We know from the Department of State notifications that Lunsford withdrew his nomination on September 3rd, clearly within 2 calendar months of November 3rd elections. That party nomination was illegal. Fact. You guys can bend it, twist it, however you want. According to the law, Katie Oliver and Ron McLaughlin were illegally placed on the ballot. We have the State Department notification recorded saying that it was September 3rd that Lunsford's resignation was received. At some point, the State Department notice of resignation was removed, and the date and official record incorrectly and questionably now says that Lunsford resigned on August 3rd. You guys got numbers and papers changing that should not be allowed to change. So something's going on here, and you messaged me specifically and told me that everything was by the books. Even Commissioner Dersham admitted in the last meeting that this was outside his pay grade. Who is not engaged in scandal at the state level that is able to look into this right now? You guys admit to using outside audit firms in place of elected auditors and downplay the auditor's role in government, relegating them to wage setters. When in reality, the Board of Auditors has the power to issue subpoenas, require oaths, with penalty of perjury. These auditors have the same subpoena power as the Court of Common Pleas. No wonder Center County wants to hire buddy firms to do their dirty bidding. Now with this, I've raised many issues. I told you last time I had little faith. I now have no faith in my elected officials to run this government or to properly represent the will of the people. With 10% of our government made up of appointed positions, who knows how many more in the last 2 to 4 years that we were not informed of? We could see numbers of anywhere from 10 to 40% plus of appointed government. I think it is far past time for the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Department of Justice to come into Center County, get involved, help educate you guys, your election director, and get to the bottom of whatever the hell everyone's trying to hide in this county. Now, my closing remarks, and I'm sorry for running late. Commissioner Higgins, you mentioned to us in our first meeting that you petitioned it during the winter and you were out there during some cold months. I want to let you know, my group, we stood for 16 weeks straight in the cold. And we'll stand for 16 weeks straight in the summer as well. Commissioner Pike, you messaged me, and you told me that this was all by the books and everything was okay. I've given you now over 21 bullet points to look into. If after doing so you can still tell me that everything is okay, then you, sir, are a liar and a con man, much like the rest of the politicians plaguing our country. And Commissioner Dershowitz, by the end of this, the Anarchy Party might be a majority party in Center County. That's all I got for you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Adams.